If all women disappeared from the planet, humanity would die. People would not exist. You can't exist without women. We give life and we sustain life. We create, we manifest, and we sustain our creations. It's that simple. Women are the physical portals. We are the creator incarnated in human form. That's what women are, physical portals of source. We are the only ones that channel and can bring in and can handle a potent divine fractal of soul into our own physical bodies. Create, nurture, integrate spirit and physical matter in order to form a human. That's all woman. That's what women are. We are automatically, as women, two massive, powerful portals to connect spirit, divinity, the universe, to physical reality itself. Everything that's birthed into creation is birthed through us. It doesn't happen without feminine. Men are the ones that need women. Women do not need men. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Hello, beautiful souls and amazing beings. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast. I'm Rachel Fiori, and we're going to dive into women's menstrual cycles. Let's talk about women leading and creating, and how everything in our patriarchal world of inversion, of complete fuckery, has destroyed our levels of creativity and creating a harmonious world. Because they go, that old earth goes against everything feminine. It destroys, it oppresses, it demolishes, it harvests the feminine energy. And when we are a harvester of feminine energy, life force energy, because women are the physical portals, we are the creator incarnated in human form. That's what women are, physical portals of source. We are the only ones that channel and can bring in and can handle a potent divine fractal of soul into our own physical bodies. Create, nurture, integrate spirit and physical matter in order to form a human. Okay, that's all woman. That's what women are. So we are the creators. Life cannot sustain and be sustained. Humanity cannot be sustained without women. And the people that took over this feminine planet and took over the world, the spiritual world war that we are in on this world, on this planet, that's been going on for a long time, but that we're in now, that spiritual war, everybody has their theories and their guesstimates and their theories, everything about what's going on and who it is and why. And let me simplify it for you. It's a patriarchal world of world enslavement, imprisonment, and domination in order to oppress, control, and steal life force energy from women. I mean, it's a war of misogyny in this world of misogyny. It's why women are oppressed. It's why, women are not supposed to function in a 40, 50, 60-hour work week. Men are the workhorses. Not that you should be working 60 hours a week. Nobody should. That's enslavement. That's how they imprison everybody and enslave everybody. One of the many, many ways and tactics. But women aren't meant to create that way, which is why if women are slaves at home and owned by men, aka husbands, and or they enter into the workforce and they work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, they cannot function the way that they are meant to function in sync with the cosmos itself. It takes that away from a woman because she is not functioning and creating and leading through her natural tendencies in sync with Mother Earth herself in a circadian rhythm of the world, Gaia. Women are supposed to be in sync with how Earth herself functions, breathes, cleanses, elevates. Okay. We are naturally one with that when we're not fucked with in an inverted world to turn us into slaves and oppress us and take all of our energetic power away from us. Okay. So a woman's cycle and how she functions every week out of every month is really important. And let me mention this very briefly. The 4 main phases of a woman's cycle, and you probably know this, and if you don't, just listen up. I'm not going to go into great detail, and there's a reason for that, but I'm going to mention them. You have your follicular phase, you have your ovulation phase, you have your luteal phase, and then you have your actual menstrual phase, where you're actually menstruating. Okay. These cycles week to week are really important for how a woman functions. Okay. Because during the follicular phase, and even into the ovulation phase, but especially that week or more of the follicular phase, that woman is the most creative. I mean, let me tell you, highly conscious, evolved women, if they follow the cycles of Earth, which means they're following their own cycles, hormonal cycles, body cycles, menstrual cycles. The womb chakra, not just the physical womb that we have. So we have 2 main portals that we function as: an energetic portal, which is our womb chakra, and our uterus, which is our physical womb, is a physical portal. We have both, and we function with both of those being activated at all times to bring in, create, and manifest things into existence, whether it's a human or anything else that's created and brought in. That's brought in by the feminine, by feminine energy, period, end. Men who create and manifest things, you can't create anything and manifest anything without feminine energy. So what you're tapping into, so men are doing one of 2 things: old Earth, inverted Earth of fuckery, of oppression and enslavement, misogyny. Men are doing one of 2 things. They're either really connected and balanced and tapped into their own feminine energy, and they're using that to manifest and create things in their lives, or they're so brainwashed and dumbed down, they've learned to harvest a woman's energy. This is why men on old Earth are brainwashed and conditioned to run around like whores. They're the whores, fucking women left and right, having as many girlfriends as they can, having a wife at home, and then having, 2 or 3 other girlfriends on the side. They are harvesting energy to become successful and live their lives. They're harvesting energy. They don't have this kind of energy on their own. It doesn't exist in men. Men are the ones that need women. Women do not need men energetically. And no, women don't fucking need men to procreate either, by the way. Look up parthenogenesis. It's a real thing. Of course, it's one of the things that's been almost completely erased out of history. The patriarchy just are completely erased so that nobody would have the fucking clue. Women, there did not used to be men on this planet. Women have always had the ability to create anything and everything, including other human life, just by being who we are. Now, we have to be very healed, very enlightened, very divinely powerful, not oppressed slaves. That is exactly why patriarchy is misogyny, where the spiritual war is to steal the life force energy and take the divine power from women. I mean, that's what this whole spiritual war is all about. If you didn't know, now you know. Okay. That's why women are so oppressed and enslaved. It's why men are brainwashed and conditioned to turn into violent monsters and harvest energy and only look at women through the lens of dehumanization, objectifying, entitlement, like you own them, they're your property. You're entitled to them somehow. All that dumbing down and brainwashing is so that women cannot function and exist as the powerful leaders and creators that they are. Okay. And the way that women create and lead, they fluctuate in synchronicity with the cosmos itself. So no, there's no such thing as being like one fucking energy all the time. There's no such thing as grinding 60 hours a week and go, 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 go. Now, men are built to do that more compared to women because they're not the creators or the manifestors naturally. Okay. So women go through these phases that sync up with their cycles, generally speaking. There's more to this than what I'm going to offer here in this episode today, by the way, but no need to get into a lot of detail right now. It doesn't matter. I'm going to give you an overview. Okay. Women, because we are goddess incarnated, because we are the source creator incarnated in human form, we're the creators, we're the manifestors. It's divine feminine energy that gives birth to everything in existence. We give birth to life, period, end. Men don't. That's just not what you're made for. Okay. But women are. So as the creators of life itself, we sustain life itself. And because of that, being the manifestors, the creators, etc., we ebb and flow in synchronicity with the universe, with the multiverse, with the cosmos. Very specifically, micro and macro, very specifically or more specifically with the ebb and flow of planet Earth herself, because that's the planet that we're on. Okay. So our cycles are supposed to sync up with the ebb and flow of how Mother Earth, who is a being, a divine being, a physical being, how she ebbs and flows in synchronicity as a micro version of the macro cosmic cosmos. And women are supposed to be in sync with her, and then with all of the cosmos, with all of the multiverse, and then with our own individual selves and lives. Micro equals macro, macro equals micro. Okay? You're both. This is oneness consciousness teachings. You are both at the same time. Because women are born as the creators incarnated, as source incarnated in human form, that's what woman is, her ability to receive transmissions, teach, wisdom, guide, she's meant to be the leader. She's the one directly connected through her womb chakra energetically. That's a portal in and of itself. And then also through her physical womb, which is a physical portal itself. We are automatically, as women, two massive, powerful portals to connect spirit, divinity, the universe, to physical reality itself. Everything that's birthed into creation is birthed through us. It doesn't happen without feminine. Okay? So because of that, we are meant to ebb and flow and create, receive. There's creativity, massive creativity, transmissions that you're receiving tons all day. I'm telling you, days and days and days, especially on certain weeks in my cycle, the transmissions flood in, and there are tons of them, all kinds, from the multiverse. Constant, all different types. I could be working on, writing enchantments and working on manuscripts, several books, working on classes, future classes for MSU, all at the same time, back and forth, multiple, all during, that 1 to 2 weeks of high energy. And the energy the creativity starts to slow down as it moves into from the follicular phase into like the ovulation phase that starts to slow. Then you get to your luteal phase. That's the week or so before you menstruate, before your actual period. And during that, That's when women usually have symptoms that are very uncomfortable and their energy is very low. This is a nurturing rest, slow down, take a break, get out of any left brain anything, and slowly shift and move into hiding, where you then move into like menstruation. And most women will tell you what you're experiencing during, especially the first part of that, of your menstrual cycle. You're usually in pain, you're uncomfortable, you have various symptoms. That's not the point of this conversation or this episode, but you are meant to nurture and hibernate. You are a being that bleeds for days on end without dying. You know the power that you have? There is magic going on in the physical body of a woman, which is why patriarchal societies, the inverted fuckery world, wants to dominate, control, own. They want to control women's bodies because they don't have access. Your bodies don't exist this way. They don't have access to this level of power that women just organically, naturally have and move through because they're women. Okay? So during each phase of the cycle, of a woman's cycle, you're going to move through vibrationally, energetically, on a frequency level. You're going to receive transmissions, guidance, creativity, inspiration. You're going to go, 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 go. And then everything slows down. And why things slow down is all of what you just created and took in, and all the transmissions and all the ideas and all the direction and all the leadership and all the delegating and all the everything. As a leader, you're natural born leaders, women are. It isn't men. Men are not leaders. Give me a break. Look at our fucking world. You're not natural leaders. Get out of here. Not even a fucking up for debate. Look at our goddamn world. Men in charge means rape, violence, dictatorship, domination, war, more violence, rape, domination, dictatorship, violence, more rape of animals, of Earth herself, of women and children, and men and boys. Like, that's what happens when men are fucking leaders and in charge. Men are not leaders. Men are built to be the worker bees. That's not a derogatory statement in any way, shape, or form. It isn't. It's not an insult. But we've come from the inverted world. So the out of balance horseshit and all the brainwashing needs to go. All right. It's just time to be educated for real. So men will be able to go for longer periods where they're working. Do this task, finish this, complete it. Men need structure, organization, because they can't function without it. You have to have it. You're the workers. You're the followers of instructions. You're the completer of tasks. Like, you're the builders. Like, you're supposed to be that and do that. And this is just a massive generalization, right? We're not going to get too much into specifics, and because it doesn't matter for this episode. And if you're triggered by it, just fucking go away. You're not ready for anything elevated. Just stay in the old earth and it's fine. Go suffer in old earth where you're choosing to stay in. So women, when they go through their phases of creativity, receiving from the universe, receiving from Goddess herself, receiving from source, receiving, leading, inspiration, all these ideas, all this, then comes a phase where all of those ideas, all that leadership, all the creativity needs to be put in, it needs to be integrated, and then it needs to be carried out. So then everybody needs to do their part to carry out what was created during that time. And that's usually where men come in, because they're the ones receiving from the leadership of natural born divine leaders. Then they're supposed to carry out what was given. Okay. So they then start to complete the tasks. They start to build the structure so that they can follow through with all that divine inspiration. Okay. All the transmissions, all the channeling, all the leading, all the guiding, all the teaching. So they follow through. They complete whatever needs to be completed there. Meanwhile, she starts to back off, let everything integrate, and then it starts to reset. So it's a very spiritual, really try to hear what I'm telling you in this moment. Okay. When she then starts to back off. Everybody else is supposed to work and carry through. It's mostly going to be men. Work, carry through, do all the things that came through. She created all this magnificence through as divinity itself, through divinity, through her. She brought things to manifest into form through her womb chakra portal, through her physical womb portal. Everything is right here. She's already created all of it. And now things need to be carried out. The tasks need to be completed. All right. Because when those tasks are completed, what she created and birthed into existence can then take physical form and however long. Now, excuse me. Now, in the luteal phase, this is the phase where things slow down massively. Okay. Everything starts to slow. This is the integration phase. So this is a very spiritual teaching. Listen very closely. During the luteal phase, there is not a lot of inspiration. There's not a lot of tons of creativity. Whatever was created in those first couple of weeks in that follicular and ovulation phase then needs to really integrate into the woman's essence, into her beingness. Why? Because as other people start to carry out and fulfill all the tasks of her leadership and what she created during that time, they carry out the tasks. She's integrating it and vibrationally sending out the frequencies that it actually manifests into physical form. So she needs to back off and be able to take a step back, stop just creating and integrate. This integrates into her body before it manifests into the physical. Does this make sense? Why in a patriarchal, fucked up, inverted world, the parasitic cult leaders that rule the world would want to completely own women and control everything about them because they want to harvest their energy, because they can't do this. This isn't how men are built. Okay? So we take a step back during this luteal phase and everything integrates, which means if we're nurtured and we start resting and it doesn't mean you're not necessarily working during this time at all, but you're integrating, which means you're flowing more, you're doing more activities that nurture, and you're allowing the integration phase to take place. Now, in classes, and I can go into more detail in the future, if people actually got a clue about how all this works and we elevate more and keep waking up, then I could give more specifics. Your intuition will tell you during this luteal phase exactly how much work, how much rest, how much follow through you need to do during this time. It's a variable depending on what it is that you're creating, what business you're running, are you the CEO? Like, it depends. All right. So if we're really truly following, which everybody in the world is supposed to follow the woman, she's the leader, and they're supposed to follow her cycles. Okay. Then during this phase, there might still be a little bit of guidance, a little bit of hands-on, from woman. But for the most part, everybody's carrying out tasks, maybe checking in with her. And she's integrating in a physical sense. That's why it starts to get exhausting. She is bringing things through her two main portals, her womb chakra energy portal and her physical womb portal. She is bringing things into this physical realm and birthing them into existence. Everything that gets birthed into existence, a woman is a part of. And again, it goes back to why women are so oppressed and enslaved and controlled by men, because if we keep them where we want them and we control them and we own them and they can't move or breathe or have a credit card or have a baby unless we say so, but we can rape them and force them into having all this psychotic shit that's going on. They want that so they can harvest our energy and create for themselves. We are the only ones that can be created through. If all women disappeared from the planet, humanity would die. People would not exist. You can't exist without women. We give life and we sustain life. we create, we manifest, and we sustain our creations. It's that simple. All creations need to be sustained through the presence of the feminine, period, end. It's that simple. You understand what this spiritual war really is about? Let that sink in a little bit. So, luteal phase is when you're resting more, you're starting to get closer to that menstruation phase where you're actually bleeding in your cycle and you're starting to get tired or starting to feel. That's an integrating phase. And you are doing that not just for yourself, your life. It's anybody that lives with you in your home. You are doing it for all of humanity. That's part of what women are doing. Nothing is sustained and exists without a woman's presence. It is the divine feminine presence that gives life, births it into existence, and then sustains it. It sustains that physical manifestation in this physical form, in this physical realm. That is the power of woman. Okay. So it's why she gets fucking exhausted. So you understand again why she's enslaved and oppressed and taken over and controlled and owned. Stay at home, barefoot and pregnant, cook clean, do all the things, be my slave, serve me. So that she can't rest enough and follow her natural phases of existence, her divine phases of existence in synchronicity with the planet herself, with the multiverse itself and how it functions. She is in sync with all of that beyond what can be comprehended, especially at the level of consciousness we're at now. Jesus. So then the menstruation phase comes, and, there's however many days where it's like, don't talk to me. I am exhausted. I can hardly function. You are supposed to hibernate. You're supposed to go into hibernation and do nothing but caress and nurture and restore. Okay. All of the things that did not physically manifest yet, all of the ideas, all of the failed attempts, all the things that didn't work. That is literally the death and rebirth process. You are purging all of that on an energetic level, on a physical level through your bleeding and blood. That is being purged from the woman's body. There is a fresh, clean slate, clean start. About a week later, starts all over again. The purging process during menstruation itself, during the bleeding phase, is a death, purging, alchemy process. It is a purging process of negativity, failed attempts, unhealed emotions and traumas. So it's an emotional purge. It is an energetic purge. Everything that you try to create to manifest in this existence first is created at the energetic level, in the void, from nothing. It is energetically created first. Do you understand? So all those things during the month, especially a follicular and ovulation phases of a physical woman, biological woman, all the things that were created, all the ideas, all the inspiration, all of it gets created on an energetic level. Okay. So during the luteal phase, where the woman's supposed to step back and start to slow down, that's an integration phase. What's happening on an energetic spiritual level, this is the multidimensional magical being that you are. What is happening is things are getting separated out. All the stuff that needs to be purged, transformed, alchemized, not a part of your existence moving forward this next month, that is being separated out. It's splitting into two. And then all the creativity, all the ideas, all the beautiful, magnificent things that will come to fruition, they're being separated out. And the stuff that needs to be purged is purged through the physical body, through the woman's body, through her blood. Okay. This is a whole nother level of death and rebirth process that women organically go through. That's why they want women so dumb and blind and unconscious and not waking up for real. And they want you trapped in over sexualizing your body, fucking constantly, being used as sex objects, because you can never tap into this kind of power and have this level of wisdom and let the wisdom flow through you to understand what is even happening in your body. Because even during certain phases, if you were elevated enough and highly conscious enough as women, you would not let anybody come near you sexually during certain times, because that would interrupt the manifestation. That would interrupt the creation process on a spiritual, energetic level. It's like, I am doing what I do as the creator incarnated, and nothing interrupts this process. That's part of the way of purity. So once I get to a phase where this is separated out and I can purge what is not going to help or benefit what we want to manifest here. Okay. And we start with a clean slate. Then the next month is, okay, what is left? What are the energies? What are the co-creation with in being in synchronicity with the universe herself, with source herself, with planet Earth herself? How can I now refocus my energies in this month after that menstrual phase, the menstruation phase, the bleeding phase, part of the cycle? Now that I'm entering back into that follicular phase, you can then harness more focused energy at what else needs to be created or what needs to be added to the creations from last month. Okay. So just as a general overview, this is how women work. This is how women function if they are awakened and aligned with the creators that they are, the beings, the multidimensional, source incarnated being that they are. So tricking everyone to fight over birth control and things like this. First of all, being on birth control that is offered by patriarchy, which is never on your behalf to help you and benefit you in any fucking way, shape, or form. Anyone, but especially women. It completely destroys your hormones. It fucks with every aspect of your divine nature. Why do you think they want women to be on stuff like that and they don't want to mess with men? Men don't have anything like that. Oh, it messes with the hormones. It's all these side effects, the horrible side effects. We can't do that to men, but we'll do it to women. Like, come on. So if you look at just a strict spiritual, energetic, biological health standpoint, women shouldn't be on fucking birth control. You shouldn't be choosing that for yourself. What you can choose is a 4B movement until things change. That includes not going to physicians that are OBGYNs. Why do we allow men to be that anyway? The state of the world. All the reports, and these are just ones we know of, all the reports of women being raped, even by dentists. You're having your tooth fixed. You're put under, raped. You can't even trust a man to be a fucking dentist, for fuck's sake. OBGYNs. Why do you think men in a patriarchal world, in the inverted world of fuckery, enslavement and oppression and inequality, want to have that as a job? They want to torture women, and they want to get their hands messing around with the physical portal that you have. They're trying to harvest energy and take control. No man should have that job. Why the fuck do you want to have that job as a man? It's a little strange. And yet, being brainwashed, you never question it. You never question it until enough women reported sexual abuse by their gynecologists. that are men. It's time to get this stuff out. Only go to women, gynecologists or OBGYNs. Women refuse to see a man until things change. And by the way, it should change where there shouldn't be male guy, like these shouldn't exist. It shouldn't even be allowed. Quite frankly, men are way too low level of consciousness to allow them to have those roles. They shouldn't even be allowed to have those positions. So guess what? The only way it's going to change women is if you oh, there's a man. No, I won't see them. I will only see a woman physician. Thank you. Oh, we don't have, well, then I don't come here. I'm done. Bye. You just lost a patient. You should, that's how you set the boundary. Absolutely refuse. If every woman in the United States refused to go to men, gynecologists and OBGYNs, they wouldn't have a job. So guess what? Only women would get those jobs. That's how you make real change in our current system. Okay. So just saying. Let me connect a dot for you. When we're talking about the multi-dimensional aspect of, in this episode, I'm focusing on women here and their menstrual cycles and what that really means. I want to give you a little bit of a higher level of it to consider and digest. No one should be interfering with that. We've had nothing but negative, evil, disgusting interference with that by having men in these roles. And I don't want to fucking hear it. The bullshit. It isn't all men. It's all men until it's no men. It's all men until it's no men doing this shit. Waking up for real. Okay? So, women taking a stand on things like, I absolutely will not go to a gynecologist or an OBGYN if it's a man, and absolutely refusing and denying anybody as a physician that is a man, only seeing women. You will realize the level of collective energetic power that you will have access to, because it won't be siphoned. It can't be siphoned anymore by the ones who are doing all these horrible things to women. Like doing a biopsy, cutting your insides out, taking a chunk of your flesh from the inside of you with no fucking pain control at all, and telling you you'll feel a pinch. The level, and then Jesus Christ, then somebody's gonna fucking examine a man's balls, just fucking your test. Let me just touch and feel your testicle. Do you need a painkiller? Do you want pain control for that? Get the fuck out of here. The level of abuse and torture that are enacted against women in everyday procedures when they do typical exams, the way that their pain is completely dismissed is fucking abuse. That's what you get in a patriarchal world. You don't get that level of abuse towards anyone, not towards a woman, and not towards any man, when you live in a world of oneness, which is a matriarchal world run and led mostly by women. That doesn't happen. Women wouldn't fucking stand for men being abused and tortured just for the fucking sake of it. Although, look, you've pushed us to the point where there are a lot of women cheering on for men to be abused and tortured for no fucking reason. This is what men have pushed women to in this patriarchal world, because I see more of it out there. And it isn't the same thing as to say that it is not the same thing as a woman who escapes being trafficked or murders her rapist, for example. Good for fucking you. Are you serious? That's not the same. If that's what it comes to get a fucking clue that women aren't going to put up with this shit anymore, why would that bother you unless you're a fucking rapist? Let that one sink in. Because I see things all over social media where they're like, This young girl murdered her rapist, killed her rapist. And there are hundreds, there are thousands of comments from men that are like, oh, take those names, go look at those accounts. Those are rapists too. Why would you have a problem with a rapist being euthanized, let's say? Because these people need to start being euthanized. Sorry, like that. I'm not gonna, sorry, but not sorry. If you're a rapist and you are violently harming women, it's just time to start euthanizing you. We can take all these poor dogs out of the shelters and put sexual abusers, rapists in there, and they can just wait their turn in line to be euthanized. We would save a lot of dogs, and we would put sexual abusers where they need to be, where they deserve to be. Just throwing that out there for an idea, in case anybody wants to act on it. This is just educational for fun purposes anyway, as my disclaimer. Why would you have a problem with a rapist being harshly punished if you yourself are not a rapist? So you're just telling on yourself that you're a rapist. Let that sink in. And why have men in a patriarchal inverted world why have they been turned into monsters? Because that's what patriarchy does to men. It strips their divinity, doesn't even let them connect to their divinity at such young ages. And it turns them into these cold, harsh, violent, aggressive monsters and violators. And I've done previous podcast episodes on this before. But part of the reason for that is if you can have a dumbed down, brainwashed, violent army of male soldiers to do your bidding for you, all women's energy will be harvested for behalf of the elites. They need women's energy and they need men's workforce. That's patriarchy for you. So, on New Earth, that will be created by people waking up actually for real and doing the real shadow work on themselves. On a New Earth, it will be mostly women leading because women are the natural born leaders, and it will be in sync with her cycle. It will be in sync with the ebb and flow of Earth's ebb and flow, which is feminine being. So naturally, all the women with their energetic and physical portals that they are connected to Mother Earth in a way that men can't be. And they are connected to source, to divinity itself, the cosmos, in a way that men can't be. It doesn't mean men have no ability to be connected to divinity. Of course they do. But if you're male-centric and brainwashed and arrogant and egoic, oh my God, this whole episode is mostly about women. I can't handle it. The whole fucking world's about men. I think you can handle an episode where we're focusing mostly on women. What about the men? That shows you where you are in your level of consciousness and misogyny and sexism and entitlement. If you need to have the 50-50, let's then talk about men. We don't need to talk about y'all in the same way in one episode of a podcast. It's okay that you're not the center of attention for once, because none of this disgusting, violent war world is going to change if you remain in the central of every fucking thing. It's not how we were meant to work. The inverted world lied to you and taught you that and brainwashed you and indoctrinated you to that, which is why everything's so fucked up and why everybody's in suffering. Okay. Women naturally evolved women who have healed themselves and are high levels of consciousness, not just anyone. Evolved women who've done the work on themselves. They are the leaders of the world. They run everything because they function in oneness and they are connected by an energetic and a physical portal to everything, the all that is, to Earth herself. Of course, we're the leaders then. Okay. So in the future, New Earth, everything will look very differently. Women will rule, so to speak, in a very different way than how Anybody rules, or as meaning in leadership, meaning in a healthy way to quote unquote to rule. Doesn't mean to fucking dominate. It doesn't mean dictatorship. That doesn't exist in the feminine. Feminine is oneness. So none of that exists, right? So in the future on New Earth, it's the leadership that you will see will flow very differently. It's not a showing up, 5 days a week for 8, 10, 12, 15 hours a day. And that's how you lead. Like, all that's insanity. Okay. There will be a lot more fluctuations of things. There'll be a lot more flexibility with things. There are, and I'll give you one simple example. In my organization at Masters of Self University, one simple example is, of course, we have our scheduled meetings, and people on the corporate team, of course, they have to be available for meetings and certain things we have to do as a team. And the only way to do it is everybody meet same time, whatever. So there's certain meetings that everybody has to be. I mean, that's just structure. That's the way of responsibility. You show up for those, right? But there are certain tasks, for example, certain responsibilities and duties that you'll carry over. That's your responsibility, your task, your job responsibility, whatever. And you have the flexibility to work and get that done as long as it's done in the amount of time where it has to be done by. Why would I care what hours a day you work to complete that task? If you're a morning person or an evening person, or, you want to go to the gym during your workday, or you want to, why would I care what you do during your workday as long as you're completing your responsibilities? Okay. So to receive the leadership and the transmissions and all the things, okay, here's what I got. Here's where we're going. Here's what we're going to do next. And that is what's put out and focused on. And then now hone that in the second half of the month. Hone that in, get it created, allow it to come into the physical manifested form by everybody working together as a team. That's woman leadership, when she's just divinely guided to do what she naturally, organically does so well. And then everyone else is there to support that process, because everybody fucking wins in that process. Everybody wins in that because it's oneness, right? And it doesn't mean when you're running an organization that you don't have to work overtime, and certain days or weeks are way busier than others. And other times it's like lackadaisy, compared to the previous week or whatever. There's no rigid schedule. There's a flexible, structured schedule of when everybody needs to work. It's a very different way to do things. And it isn't the highest level of the way to function in oneness, because you can't, when patriarchy still fucking exists everywhere. So it's sort of in the middle right now, that transitionary period where you still have to function and deal with people living and functioning in patriarchy. So it's kind of in the midway point of how it'll really look, say, a decade from now. Okay. But all of this, I follow the flow of my cycle. I know when a billion transmissions are coming in constantly, all day, every day, even in the middle of the night while I'm sleeping, and I wake up to it and I write stuff down, and then I go back and I'm like, okay, I got to get back to work to this in my sleep. And I go back to sleep, hurry up, because I got more work to do in the sleep. And, that's up to 2 weeks every month. And then there's an integration phase. And then there's I will just do what I have to fucking do week. And it's like, outside of that, leave me alone. I need to nurture. I need to be isolated. I need to be around my animals. I need to recalibrate. I need to purge all the things that should not go into these manifestations next month. We don't want these certain things, to the ideas that we don't want to act on, for example. Oh, that one's not the best idea. That needs to be purged. And women physically purge that during their menstrual cycles. Women are magical, magical creatures. And we don't have the slightest fucking clue. We haven't even scratched the surface of how women function and how magical they are, because we're too busy oppressing them, objectifying them, over-sexualizing them, dehumanizing them, owning them, dismissing them, ignoring them, That all comes from the old earth of inversion, of patriarchy, of evil. Okay, that's not how oneness functions. So women, I encourage you from here forward, what week are you in? Don't get too clinical or technical or left brain. Well, in my follicular, I mentioned those for a reason. Okay. The truth is, each and every week of every month, I would encourage you, for those of you who are still having your cycle and not in, menopause, do the same thing in menopause, but, teachers get a little bit different for that. Every week, I would encourage you to keep a menstrual journal or a journal of flow. Okay? Because flow, receiving, receiving, receiving all of this, separating it, focusing on that for the next month that needs to be physically manifested. It needs to be manifested into physical form, brought and birthed into physical form. And then the purging cycle. Your body needs to rest and recover, need to surrender to the purging process and allow everything that needs to be purged to actually be purged out and cleansed and purified, because that's what the body is doing on a spiritual and an energetic and a physical level, emotionally, mental, all of it. Purge. Okay. And then the next month, keep your journal of flow. What remained after that purge? What naturally are you focused on with creating? Doesn't come from wound, doesn't come from mind. If you're in sync in a divine way with Earth herself, the cosmos herself, right? Source herself, then that next week during that follicular phase, you'll realize, oh, there's so much more coming in. Oh, it's different. I'm supposed to do it a little differently. Or, oh, right there was perfect. Here's what I need to focus on for this next 1 to 2 weeks. And all these transmissions and all this creativity is going to fuel what you started last month. So my encouragement would be that you keep a journal of flow to see how it's flowing to you, what gets separated, and then what flows through you, what purges out, which is a form of flow, and then what energies in that co-creation process are then flowing through you and harnessing and being harnessed in the next month. What's carrying over and being harnessed and used as fuel for the next month. So that follicular phase, jot down in a journal. It does not have to be detailed. You don't have to write much if you're not like somebody that's into journal writing a lot. You don't have to. How do you feel? What came through? What are the transmissions? What's the inspiration? Ovulation phase. What's different this week compared to high creativity week last week? The luteal phase. What's different this week? Do you feel integration? Do you feel that starting to separate? Can you tell? Write your observations down. And then menstrual is just nurture and focus on yourself. But how do you feel? Can you tell what is being purged? So that menstruation week is like a really good week in your journal of flow. Like that flow journal is, can you tell what is being purged? And then you start that next week over that follicular phase where what's left. That is a beautiful way to journal for women, because I'll tell you what, your manifestations will get clearer. What your power to create and bring into physical form will get so much clearer and more powerful when you just observe and start to keep track of and write in your flow journal or your journal of flow. You will start to see trends every month of, oh, this is coming through every month. And you will know exactly what to do, what to hone in on, what to focus on in order to bring something fully into physical manifestation. It's all related to your flow. Your flow is related to the Earth's flow, which is related and connected to the cosmic flow, the universal flow, the flow of source and how source functions. Women are the lineage and direct connectors and channels for all of that. We are the portals for it. It is time for women to start living as the portals of divinity that they are. And that means checking in with your flow, paying attention to, keep that journal. What's coming through? What are you receiving? What is your guidance telling you, especially during that luteal phase or the beginning of your menstruation phase, of bleeding phase? How much rest and nurturing do you need? When you're guided, don't go to the goddamn gym. Stop forcing yourself when your energy needs to be spent doing something else. That's all patriarchal man's world. Force, push through, go anyway. That's not how women are supposed to function, which is why women are exhausted, they're overworked, their creativity gets shot because all your energy is being harvested. Because if you force yourself to go to the gym, for example, when you're supposed to stay home and rest, because you have to have this ideal standard of what your body fucking looks like in order to be a sex object so men want to fuck you. I mean, that's all it's for anyway. That isn't healthy to optimize the divine power of woman. That's not healthy. That's a man's definite patriarchal man. I'm taught when I say this, I hope y'all understand. I'm not talking about healthy divine men. They're not the problem, are they? Why would a healthy divine man be a problem? A healthy divine man is not the problem here. Okay. So, in a toxic man's world where you go to the gym 6 days a week and you push and you grind and you force, you cannot elevate as a woman. I don't care what you get your body to look like. You cannot elevate as a divine woman and reach the highest levels of power, divinity, enlightenment that you can reach. You're blocking it out. It isn't even possible. That has to flow through your physical body. And you're blocking it and destroying that flow when you continue to choose in ignorance, remaining dumb and blind, living in a man's world. This is a feminine planet. It's a woman's world. And what's insane is that a woman's world is a world of oneness. It's the healthiest for all beings on the planet because it's oneness. It's only living in a man's world where it's toxic and violent and scary and horrific and evil and all the things. The inverted world. This is a feminine planet. It is meant to be a woman's world. That doesn't mean women are fucking cunts dominating and torturing men the way that women are treated in patriarchal world. We got to at least wake up to that, people. Come on. You can't be that fucking stupid anymore. I don't allow you to be that fucking stupid anymore. That a matriarch just simply means women are in charge and they're going to fuck up men just the way men fucked up women, dominate. That's not matriarch. And I've had podcasts on this before, but you have to get a fucking clue and stop being stupid. The divine feminine is oneness. Everything is birthed from her. Nothing exists and is sustained without her. It's that simple. It's time, women, to wake up for real. And it is time to get in flow with how you're supposed to function. And no, you're not necessarily going to be able to do it 100% because we still have this patriarchal bullshit in existence. It's dying and it's being dismantled. Be patient, but do your best. Don't use it as an excuse to not do what you're here to do in this lifetime as the creator incarnated, for crying out loud. You're the powerhouses. You have the portals to change this whole planet. Guess what? The toxic psychopaths from the inverted old earth, patriarchy, know that, which is why you're so fucking oppressed, which is why they continue to take rights away from women and keep women alive, even though they're fucking dead, in order to have babies grown inside of a dead body, forcing against families' wishes, forcing that dead, decaying body to continue to harbor a fucking baby, even though when the baby's cut out of a dead, decaying woman's body that they should have allowed to die. I mean, it was dead, but they kept it going as long as they could Like, this is the psychotic bullshit that's happening in the United States, at least. And that's happening for a reason. They're testing to see how much they can harvest from women without having women even be fully alive. Right? So, go do your research on that one if you haven't heard of that yet. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. So, listen, women, stop waiting for men to get a clue and get on board. Okay? Because the divine men who are healing themselves and they see the sickness that everyone and everything is from patriarchy. Patriarchy is a poison. It's poisonous. It's a sickness. Everybody's sick and fucked up and dysfunctional when you've been brainwashed and conditioned by patriarchy, man or woman. Everyone suffers under that old, inverted, disgusting, sick world. Okay? It's a prison planet. So here's the thing, though. You cannot wait for any man to get a clue. Just unplug. Start to go with the flow of what you are. Care for yourself in the way that you are intuitively guided to care for. Keep learning. Keep receiving the teachings that you can connect to your pure, raw, divine feminine energy. And that allows you to guide and make decisions and create and rest and not do or do. You need to follow that. The more women that step into their power and do that, the faster this world changes. And that literally means better and healing for every fucking being that exists. That includes men who are ready to wake up and elevate for real. So in a world of oneness, there is no, we're going to harm you and hurt you and torture you just because women are fucking superior. Like, get the fuck out of here with the patriarchy bullshit, but put a woman label on it. It's just nauseating and it's exhausting. So just shut up and knock it off. That doesn't exist. If you're unwilling to learn what woman really is, you're just part of the old earth, so fuck off. It's okay. I'm not judging you for it. I don't give a shit. All right? There are men in our organization, there are men who come in as clients of mine. Ask the male clients, the men that I see as clients, how they feel when they receive healings from me, when they receive the coaching and the guidance. You can ask them. I mean, I'm not, obviously, confidentiality, but there are men to ask. They will tell you what it feels like to have a being of oneness, a woman of oneness, teach them, guide them, coach them, and help heal them. They haven't made progress at all previously compared to the amount of transformation and elevation that they receive through learning the actual truth. And it starts with something as simple as a podcast episode. Sure, I can't possibly do for you what I do in my organization, private clients and teaching in our metaphysical university. But I've said this before. I try to give as much as I can for free. But if you expect things for free, fuck you, you're old earthers anyway. What the fuck? There's reciprocation. You're just functioning as toxic masculine energy, man or woman. That's toxic masculine entitlement. Take, harvesting someone's energy, expecting to get everything for fucking free. You don't have to pay for shit. So you're not giving anything, but you expect to receive. Toxic masculine. You are patriarchy. Man or woman, you're a woman doesn't mean you escape that. Plenty of women out there that show up as patriarchal cunts. They are. Plenty of them. You should do it for free. Go fuck yourself. You're old earth. Get out of here. There's no room for that anymore. No tolerance. Okay? Reciprocation is oneness. Reciprocation. There's always an exchange of energy instead of this harvesting of teachers and gurus and healers. You want to harvest their energy and you're entitled to think you fucking deserve it just because. You're a toxic masculine psychopath and you have a lot of healing to do on yourself. Women need to rise and stop functioning like that. Whether you're on the receiving end of that or you're in toxic masculine and you are entitled and you think you can take and harvest other people's man or woman, but especially women's energy. Like, enough's enough. Wake up for real. Connect to your power. And part of elevating your level of consciousness as women is starting to pay attention to the flow physically so that you can get in sync with Earth, with the universe, with Source herself. Okay. Men learning this is really critical because, again, divine feminine is the creator of all. So she created you, first of all. So you're an aspect of her, right? You benefit from supporting and being in synchronicity, in loving oneness and union with what the feminine is inside of your own self, because every human has divine feminine and divine masculine. You should already know that. But also in the physical form of woman versus man. Everyone benefits from oneness. No one benefits from severance consciousness, duality consciousness, patriarchal consciousness, which is all synonyms. They are all synonyms. All of that's one and the same. Patriarchy is severance. It is a lack of divinity. Feminine or a matriarchy is oneness. So everybody benefits. Everyone benefits. Everyone's best interest and highest good is always a part of the equation, or it isn't oneness. Okay? It's a reminder of that. Women, you need to learn that on a higher level. This is your invitation and also your challenge. Stop. I want you to write in your journal where you keep contributing to patriarchy by following patriarchal rules. And listen, you can't do much right now, some of you, regarding like your job. Like, this is my career. This is how I earn money. And it's a patriarchal system. That's okay. You don't have to get all upset. Alchemize your emotions regarding it. There are certain things that you won't be able to change right now or immediately or whatever. That's okay. You can change other things. You can. Absolutely. So stop being a victim and acting like you can't. The more you step into that power, even though it's a little bit at a time, a little bit more, you're changing the whole entire system by continuing to connect to the powers that you have. So that literally means, no, I'm trapped. Let's say you're trapped in a job you don't want because it's a patriarchal world, inverted job. So you're over fucking worked and all day, every day, your whole life's a stupid job. So that imbalance is already there, sucking the life force energy out of women because women aren't supposed to function like that. So if that's the case, and that's something you can't change today or next week, okay, it's fine. What else can you change? Guess what? No, I'm not going to go do that thing. No, I'm not going to hang out. I'm giving up drinking. I'm not partying all night anymore. You want to hang out with me? We're going to hang out at 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. Right? Or we're going to do, 1:30 works great for me. I'm at my peak at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, from 1 to 3, from 1 to 4, and then I'm done. Like, you have to start to learn what your flow is as a woman. The more you elevate, the more you heal, the more you raise your level of consciousness, the more you connect to your divine power, the flow will change because you're getting more in sync with what your natural flow with Earth, with the universe, with Source herself actually is meant to be. All right. And it starts with you writing in that flow journal. Okay. Paying attention and then starting to make the decisions of, I'm not going to participate in that. No, I'm going to overextend myself. If you're dating, especially if you're heterosexual, especially, but dating period, it's okay. You can be homosexual and this still applies. That, nah, I'm too exhausted. I'm not hanging out tonight or tomorrow. Like, those are my longest days at work. So no, I'm going to go home and rest. I'm hanging out with my dog only or whatever. Okay. You have to start to connect to your power to make these kinds of choices and stop being obligated to go expend more of your energy so that your energy can be harvested. Because dumb and blind, unconscious people don't even know that they're harvesting your energy. And especially, again, patriarchal world, if you're heterosexual and you're dating, your boyfriend is harvesting your fucking energy. He's learned to do nothing but that. even if it's not intentionally. It is automatic. That is conditioning and brainwashing. You need to understand energetics in that. I always tell people in our university, your intentions, go fuck your intentions. Give a fuck about your stupid intentions. You have no awareness. You could actually be, as a young woman, for example, dating, you could have a boyfriend and his intention would never be to harm you. And yet he'll do nothing but harvest your fucking energy. Hello, that's what brainwashing is in a patriarchal inverted world. That's what they're conditioned to do. They have no idea they're doing it. And then worst, when they do know they're doing it. Enough of them know they're doing it and they do it on purpose. Those are the sociopaths. But I'm talking about people that just, they're dumb. And this is what unconsciousness is. They're going to harvest your energy. They're conditioned to. You have to put a block on that, stop it, set your fucking boundaries. You live life through the flow of your fucking cycle, women, because that's the whole world is supposed to follow a woman's cycle. The whole fucking world, your family, organizations are supposed to follow the flow of a woman's cycle. The reason for that is she is in flow with the earth herself. We are one. We are in sync. And we are connected in a way men can't possibly be connected because we have a womb chakra portal and we have our physical womb portal. 2 portals that connect to the entire fucking multiverse and to Earth herself. Both of them connect into both of those. Do you understand? So the cycle that we are in flow with and in sync with, yes, everybody's supposed to fucking follow us in our cycles. And then everything can be in sync again. And it isn't going to happen until you women wake the fuck up more and realize you need to make decisions in your everyday life, in your family life, in your friendships, your relationships, your romantic relationship. Everything needs to come from based on your cycle. And the only way that's going to happen is if you command it to be so and you set your boundaries and you fucking say no. That doesn't work for me. Tell them I'm in my luteal phase. No. I'm hibernating. I'm in isolation for probably the next 8 days. The whole world needs to be turned right side up, and it isn't going to happen if women don't start doing this. And you have to not give a fuck about who's going to misinterpret you. It doesn't matter. Dumb fucks, who cares? If they're fucktards, they're not going to support you and be divinely in synchronicity with you and align with you in divine synchronicity anyway. They're going to resist and try to harvest your energy. How dare you not make me a priority when you feel like shit and you're fucking exhausted and you need to have 12 hours of sleep and not all your attention on me. I'm sorry, what? So I'm exhausted and I don't feel well. I have almost no energy because this is the phase I'm in my cycle. But you want me to give what little tiny crumbs of energy I have left to you so you can harvest my fucking life force energy. That's the world of patriarchy. Now, some of you women out there may actually be lucky enough that you actually are involved in the tiny percentage of men who are waking up and healing and shifting over to new earth. And those men would understand this on a deeper level or could hear this and be like, oh my gosh, thank you. That is so helpful. Now I understand better what's happening with women because I'm not going to learn that from patriarchal fucked up world. Obviously. Let me nurture. What do you need? And by the way, be careful. Don't hound your woman. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Don't do that. That's a whole nother episode if you want one on it. That mental energy where she now has to figure everything out. Don't do that. Okay. So just in general, when I say, what do you need? It's think to yourself, how can I support her if it's a woman in your life, especially if it's a girlfriend or your wife, but if it's your sister, if it's your mom, if it's a roommate, hey, I can make you tea or I could bring you some organic raw juice. Which one would feel better to you right now? Oh my gosh. you are now divinely supporting the woman who has the power to create and sustain life and the quality of life of everybody on the fucking planet. Do you start to realize why it's so important to nurture and, now careful with this word, but cater to women, quote unquote, in a divine way, not old fucked up bullshit patriarchal definition of that word. Support and nurture in a divine way. If I support and nurture you during this phase, because your cycle is the cycle of the earth and of the whole fucking multiverse, that benefits everybody. If I'm somebody who supports that, what does it mean to support that? It means I am in synchronicity with that cycle and that flow as well. Oh, that's oneness. That right there is oneness. Okay. Let that sink in. So if you are the small percentage of men that you really are working on yourselves, you're healing, you're elevating, you're raising your level of consciousness, you know you have a lot to learn and you're trying very hard. You're dissolving all your patriarchal bullshit programs and your wounds and all that stuff. This is another example. How do you get in synchronicity with the cosmos itself? You get in synchronicity with women. They are the creators incarnated, and their cycles are the patterns that rule the whole world. Just because patriarchy came in, tried to dominate and take over everything, doesn't mean nobody's in sync with the cosmos when we live in patriarchal structure and world and rules, because you can't be. You have to harvest and steal, right? Instead, you learn how to become in flow with her flow, because her flow is the flow of Earth's vibration and Earth's flow. And then again, the cosmos itself. That's what we need to learn how to be, what to support, how to support that, how to support then her, women. And women need to learn how to step up and connect to their power and command this and not accept anything less than this. And what that looks like in your everyday life when we still live. Patriarchy is still very much alive in a lot of ways, fighting, screaming because it's dying, but it's still here to a degree, right? That's my invitation and my challenge to you as women and as men. I hope this was helpful and insightful. Have any questions on this specifically, please put them in the comments because I will read them, especially for this episode. And if there are really good questions, I can easily make another podcast episode if something in here sparked your interest or inspired you in some way. So feel free to ask your questions in the comments if something really inspired you or intrigued you or you have more questions. Thank you for listening. Always a pleasure and a delight. I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now, everybody.